and welcome to another episode of Infocast. Today we have with us Dr. Parsa Asif, who is now known as Miss Parsa Asif. So let's get started. Hello, Parsa.
Hi.
How are you?
Pre-game jitters. I've never done this before, so
It's okay, you'll be good. So now that you're one of the best A-level chemistry teachers out there, tell us, how were you as a student?
Firstly, I'm really flattered by that compliment because I really don't think I'm the best chemistry teacher out there, but thank you. As a student, specifically talking about chemistry in my A-levels, I hated the subject.
Oh.
I was so bad at it. कुछ भी समझ नहीं आता था, right? I'd be like, man, I had registered for the exam and I was like, I cannot do this. I should not take the exam because I was not prepared at all. Because for the first 6 months, I didn't understand the subject at all. Then I changed my class, shifted to another, with another teacher. And of course, there was no base, right? I mean, I had not studied or understood chemistry for the first 6 months. So the January onwards, it was very hard for me to cope up with the subject and understand all of it.
Yeah. Especially because the syllabus is so extensive.
Yeah, and like it's so connected also, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't know the bases, I mean, you can't really make those connections in the latter part of the subject as well. So I struggled a lot, and I just had decided I will not take the exam entirely and maybe just appear in October, November. But then my mom was like, worst case, kya aa jayega? B aa jayega. And I was like, also like, worst case, B aa jayega. Because, you know, we have that O-level mindset that... A nahi aayega, B aa jayega, right? But A-levels is a whole different game altogether, right?
For sure. B is good in A-levels.
B is great,
it's great
for sciences. But so I was like, no, this will be a U. But I didn't end up with a U, but it wasn't a B either. It wasn't an A either. So I knew I had to retake it, right? And I had to retake it also because I didn't understand all of AS chemistry. So for A2, I needed to know the content. So I had to retake it anyway, regardless of the grade.
Yeah.
So I remember I took retake classes with Sir Bilal, my teacher, and in those classes, he was like, because I started from scratch and I understood the subject really, really well, right? And I remember him saying in class that kisi ka ye aaya nahi hai, Parsa ka ye aa jayega, right?
Sweet.
So I was like, okay, because I understood the subject really well, and I just realized that, you know, we generally are repelled by things we don't understand. And it's not the subject, it's not that the subject is intimidating, it's just that we don't understand it, and
we don't want to like put the effort to understand
like as humans we gravitate towards the law of least effort, right? What you understand better, you just tend to like that more because it's so effortless, right? So so then when I understood the subject, I was like, oh, this is the best subject ever. Like, I love it. And I remember in dental school, in Altamash, everybody in my class, almost everybody, hated biochemistry. That was a subject in first year. And because I was so fond of chemistry, I absolutely loved that subject.
No, and I hated biochemistry.
Like people generally are so repelled by it because it's like boring and dry. But I was so fascinated by biochemistry. Like I would sit in the front row, attend all lectures, and my friends would just be like, how, why?
What's
like
wrong
nobody
with
listens to the lecturer except you. Like why do you do that? And I was like, just because I love it so much. And I remember I even got a distinction in biochemistry. And I bumped into Sir Bilal. I bumped into Sir Bilal after my first year result at a restaurant. I don't know if he would remember it, but I remember it very distinctly. And I told him that because I loved chemistry so much, and is why I loved biochemistry so much, and I ended up with a distinction.
Amazing.
And so chemistry, so that is how I was as a student. Started from zero, hating the subject, to now teaching it. So
all right, so a lot of you who do not know this, Parsa is a dentist by profession. So Parsa, you went to dental school, and like you went through those 4 years of journey in dental school. So how did this transition happen? How did you go from being a dentist to now a full-time teacher?
So I always wanted to become a dentist,
Yeah.
because as a kid, I always had injuries in the lower third of my face. So I visited the dentist like every 6 months. यहाँ लग रहा है तो वहाँ लग रहा है तो दांत टूट रहा है तो ये हो रहा है तो लिप पे लग गया. So it would always be the dentist. And I'd always very frequently I'd go to the dentist because लगता ही यहाँ पे था. So of course, because I suffered so many injuries in the lower third of my face, my occlusion was had massive malocclusion, right? So I had to go through orthodontic, go to an orthodontics as well, and the whole procedure, which takes about 2 years. So I had to get.
Sounds so painful.
Yeah, it was painful. And as a kid, I think because of that malocclusion, I was really shy to even smile. And my dentist, I remember, would be like, it's fine, just smile. And as a kid, you have those insecurities, right?
Sure.
Because you're just
conscious.
like, no, I was very conscious, right? So I would not. And after I went through braces and everything, I got the confidence to, smile. So just that in itself was so magical for me and I was so inspired that, the dentist had the ability to give me that confidence to smile, just that. I felt like this is what I want to do. I want to provide that confidence or build that confidence in kids who, at young age are shy away from smiling or are conscious to smile. Because, it's a very common
It is.
procedure. But, so I really wanted to do that. That's one reason why I chose becoming a dentist, right? When I got to dental school, because I, of course, enjoyed subjects and studying, clearly I told you biochemistry was one of my favorites.
A distinction.
So I was the teacher of the group. I used to teach my friends. And when I would teach my friends, they would understand it. They'd be like, yaar, ye to samajh aa raha hai, right? And I would enjoy it too because, so I feel like the best way to study is to teach.
Yeah.
The way you retain when you teach someone is you can't compare it to anything else.
For sure. You don't forget it.
You don't forget it. Once you've taught it, it stays with you, right?
Yeah.
So it was also helpful for me. It would help me prepare for my exams as well because I'd be teaching and then my retention would be better. And then my friends, I was helping them too because unko bhi samajh aa raha tha. So it was like a win-win for both, right? And while I was a teacher of the group, I realized that I really, really enjoyed teaching as well. And for the first year, second year, third year, by third year, I was sure. I was sure that I have to teach. I was sure that this is what I want to do. Okay, yes, practice dentistry too, but teach simultaneously. I would always, I'd have this analogy that if someone wakes me up in the middle of the night, let's say 3 a.m. and asks me to fill their tooth, and it's not an urgency, it's not an emergency, it's not hurting. I'd be like, can this wait? Can we wait till maybe morning? And if it can, I wouldn't cater to it. But if someone wakes me up at 3 a.m. and asks me to teach, I'd be like, sure.
Wow.
I'd do it. I'd do it gladly. Yeah. So I was like, okay, if that's how I feel, then this is what I want to do. Amazing. Because I just feel like what you really enjoy is what you should pursue.
For sure.
Because then it just becomes effortless, right?
Yeah.
Because you enjoy it so much,
then
it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's easy. So you started teaching at a very young age. So did that come with a set of challenges or was it easy? Or how did that happen? How did you eventually become a full-time teacher?
All right. So I started, right after my house job. I wouldn't say it was easy, but I won't say it was very difficult either. Because I started with A-level kids. In fact, you can shed some light.
It was our batch.
Yeah, you can shed some light on that. So I started as an associate with you guys. Challenging bit was having the student to believe in your ability to teach.
Yeah.
A complicated subject like A-level chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, यार ये क्या पढ़ाएंगी?
ये
You
तो
know,
खुद इतनी
ये
सी
तो खुद इतनी सी है, मतलब इनको क्या पता, right?
Just by the way, our batch did not feel that way.
Okay,
It did not. We did not feel that way.
I'm glad, but you know, like A levels is a very complex syllabus in itself. Having the kids believe in that ability to teach came as a challenge initially, but I feel like once I started teaching, I kind of gained that confidence. Like the kids started trusting me, you know. So I mean, it was kind of smooth. It wasn't that bad. But the good part about not having that age difference was I feel like the kids could resonate and connect very well with me, you know, like
for us, you would always be very like, you know, it's okay, let's go to Parsa. It's just as easy, like, okay,
yeah,
very
like
accessible, very
yeah.
accessible.
Yeah, so I mean, I would like to date. I feel like I try my level best to provide that accessibility to my students. You know, like I try, like I just want them generally, not just my students in general, to, you know, be able to confide in me, not just with chemistry related problems, but just generally. I just feel like, you know, when I was in A levels, you know, which was like a couple of years ago, let's say 10 years ago, decade ago, oh my God. So yeah, when I was in A levels, I just feel like we were so free, like we had no responsibilities whatsoever. Like, you know, we just go to I'm from Nixer, so we just go there, study, hang out, whatever, you know, no responsibilities whatsoever. But I just feel like nowadays when I look around, I just feel like life is not easy for an A-level student as well. Like there's so much, peer pressure, social media, like post-COVID, I feel like so many things have changed for so many students, you know. So I just feel like, you know, I don't want to add on to that stress that the kid is already going through. So I just try to be as accessible as possible. I try to maintain that, you know, I try to keep my classes as fun as possible. At the same time, of course, I need to teach, but I try to, you know, provide that environment where the kid does not feel burdened, you know, because I just feel like there's already so much an A-level kid is going through. So I just try to, you know, provide that ease to the student, not only in terms of chemistry, but just generally, I just want them to be able to.
Like that reflects from your like Instagram, I'd say. Like I always see the posts that you're posting and how your students are just like messing with you and then, you know, like those WhatsApp group shenanigans and all of that. So it's very cute.
Yeah, so that is one reason why I made my Instagram public. So, you know, that the kids are able to just reach out, and I have like students, not only my students, but just like random students reach out to me with chemistry related problems, random questions, you know, and I really love I really love helping out that way, you know. It doesn't have to be my kid at tuition or my kid at Cedar who gets my time. Like, you know, I love being there. I love being there for all students who need help, not just related to chemistry, but just generally, like, you know, so is one reason why I made my account public. So, I mean, you know, just at a micro level, like you're just replying to a kid, a question pucha, you're just answering that. But for them, it's like, you know, you're helping out, and it's very fulfilling that way, you know. Yeah,
sure. So like so you just mentioned that helping students and all of this is the fulfilling bit of it. So is there any part of your job that you feel like, okay, this part I don't appreciate as much, or what if ye nahi hota, like something, anything that's just
about teaching? I mean, nothing that I dislike, but it's just it's not easy. You know how there's a misconception about teachers कि यार इनका तो easy है, बस पढ़ाना है, एक चीज पढ़ानी है और बस भाई इनके तो मजे हैं, right? Like you just repeat the same thing. There's nothing new. Like, but just that bit is so challenging on its own. For me, where I teach a lot, like a lot of batches consecutively. So maintaining the same energy level, repeating the same thing, where it could be, repeating the same thing in 8 classes, where you could maybe just have all these kids in one class and be done with it. So, and just maintaining that energy, that, that I feel like is very challenging. But of course, I mean, there are no two ways to it.
Especially
I mean,
because you
to.
have like a crazy schedule, like you're teaching at college, at Cedar during the day, then multiple tuitions throughout like the day and the evening and everything. So yeah, I feel that, like, maintaining that energy, that bond is
so maintaining
difficult.
that, I think, is the challenging part. But of course, I mean, I don't hate it because
it comes with it.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to teach chemistry? I mean, why not biology, since that's more relevant to your profession?
Yeah, like I told you that I really, really enjoyed, not initially, but later in my A-levels, I really enjoyed chemistry. Yeah. So I just feel like what you enjoy, that's what you should pursue,
Yeah, fair
because
enough.
It's just so effortless, and that's why.
So, coming to like A-levels and students and how daunting A-levels could be, the conjecture is that A-level chemistry is a very difficult subject. Like, a lot of students think that it's very difficult to get a grade and everything. So, what's your take on this?
Definitely, it is difficult because the jump from O-level to A-level chemistry is huge. I mean, there's so many concepts that are taught in O-levels, and because we all obviously have to stick to the syllabus, which we kind of, it's not even true, most of it, in A-levels. The reality of it is revealed in A-levels, and then the kid is just like, what? Ye kya ho gaya? Like, from like electronic configuration being done like at a very basic level in
like
O-levels.
That was a big transition and you're like, okay,
so generally the transition from O-levels to A-levels is huge. So you're kind of not only just building up on concepts, you're kind of like making them unlearn a few concepts and then relearn new concepts.
I hated that bit.
Yeah, so that definitely is a challenging subject. I mean, I struggled with it initially, like I told you. So, but of course, it is challenging. But with practice, I feel it's not doable.
Okay.
I mean, it's very doable. And just I feel like paying attention in class. Paying attention in class and just revising that little bit that you study every day.
Yeah.
That I feel is the trick to, and then solving past papers, just solving questions and paying attention in class and just revising every day. That would be more than enough. And generally we have the concept of not studying every day. The kids don't study every day and they kind of pile it up for the end.
Yeah.
So that's why usually most kids struggle, because they've just piled it on for the end, and towards the end they've got too much to do.
For sure.
So just, yes, I'm not gonna disagree that it is a challenging subject, but very doable.
Okay.
Yeah, once you understand it, I feel like it's like I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So now that CIEs are around the corner and like most of the students are almost done with their prep. So what are some of the last minute tips and tricks that you'd like to tell them? Like how can they feel more confident about their preparation?
So chemistry is I can't say a very how biology is mostly theoretical.
And a lot of
physics,
retained.
Yeah, physics is very math-based.
Yeah.
Chemistry is a mixture of both.
Yeah,
you
there
need
is
to know
retention,
there is a lot of retention that you need to do, and there is calculation bit and the math bit to it
that
too.
bit's fun.
Yeah, so but then again, some people struggle with math. So for them, that bit is a little challenging. Some prefer the theory bit, some don't. So it's like a mix of both. So for chemistry, you have to know your theory. There are no two ways to it. You can't not know your theory and be able to do the paper. So the first thing at hand is just knowing the theory very, very thoroughly. And then, of course, once you know the theory, practicing application of theory will come with practice.
Yeah.
So you need to practice lots and lots of questions, lots and lots of papers to be able to apply that theory. So I feel like the best way to go about it is once you've done the theory, you do the papers, and if there's a topic where you're constantly getting stuck while solving questions, go back, revisit the theory. Yeah. So that would help. But otherwise, I feel like if you are able to solve questions, then you're good to go. Yeah, but constant revision of the theory, revisiting topics is important because it's very volatile. Yeah, you tend to forget equations and stuff and reagents and conditions.
Yeah.
With organic chemistry,
yeah.
it is really challenging for kids to kind of retain all that information, all those reactions, reagents, conditions, and also best way to do is write it down. Make flashcards, make sticky notes, or just teach someone, Just teach someone. That really helps. Keep your notes open and teach someone. Maybe do it twice. The third time you'll remember it. You'll know it. So repetition is the key.
Okay. So again, like not every student ends up getting their desired grade in A levels, and like you walk out of the exam room thinking, okay, my paper went amazing, but you don't like end up with a great grade and you're like, okay, what just happened? So and this is something that's very common. Like I myself gave a retake and everything. So what do you suggest should a student do if they do not get their desired grade? Like should they go for a retake in October, November, speaking strictly for AS students, or should they give accelerated chemistry?
So in A2 there's a lot of overlapping AS knowledge that you need for the A2 paper, right? And like basically you need to know all your AS for A2, right? So if you have like let's say multiple retakes, like you have physics, chemistry, and God forbid if another subject that you have to retake in October, November, I'd suggest that you should wait it out and maybe take the other subjects and give a composite for chemistry. Because you anyway have to study it for A2. Yes, it will be a lot of pressure when you're taking your A2 exam because there'll be 5 papers that you'll be appearing for instead of 2.
Especially because P4 has such high weightage.
P4 has high, like it's 50% both AS and A2. But if you have other subjects, then I'd advise that you just don't give chemistry in October, November. You wait it out and give it in May, June with A2. Give a composite because you anyway have to study AS for your A2 exam.
Okay, makes sense.
Right? So rather give a composite than take it in October, November. But if a kid just has, let's say, a bad grade in chemistry and a bad grade, let's say something like a C maybe, and they want to pull it up to an A because they believe that they could do better, they will be able to pull it up to an A. And if they want that security, then there's no harm in just taking chemistry because it won't require a lot of effort for you to pull up a C to an A, perhaps, because you kind of do have some prior knowledge. And if you have no other retakes to sit for, then you might as well even give it in October, November and kind of get it done with. And also get that sense of security, because 50% of your grade kind of depends on AS. But if there are other subjects, then definitely you wait it out, give AS and A2 chemistry in as a composite.
Okay. All right. So I feel like the A-level teaching faculty is very male-centric, and like there are a lot of male teachers as compared to female teachers. So do you think that comes as a challenge?
In schools we have a lot of female teachers, but like you said, A-levels is very male-centric, yes. I mean, I've been to tuition faculty dinners where I'm the only woman with like so many male teachers, right? And like, to the point that when I'm at a tuition center, right, they usually refer to me as sir, and I'm just like, okay, all right, we're really doing this. And then kids too, because they're just so used to sir, something, sir, like so many times, kids have just barged in and just, Sir Parsa. And I'm just like, refer to me as Sir Parsa. And I'm just like, no. I mean, our names are similar. He's Sir Pasha. I'm Miss Parsa. And we're not the same people, right? So, so I just feel like there have been times where people have just called me Sir Parsa because they don't know. Like it's just so unusual. Again, because there's so many male tuition teachers that it's just a habit, it just comes out of habit to say sir instead of miss. And I'm just like, ये कैसे आपको sir कैसे लग रहा है, right? But ठीक है. I mean, I'm desensitized to it now. I'm just like, it's fine, because so challenges not so much, but just generally I feel like Karachi just generally is not safe for
anyone.
So I have like long tuition hours, right? Like I get done at 9 p.m. and I'm just initially it would be like, oh my God, like, being a woman and leaving at 9 p.m. and being alone, going back home, just that bit initially would be scary. But I mean, that's scary for everyone, whether it's a woman or a man. I mean, in Karachi, it is unsafe. So otherwise, not so much, because I mean, even it depends on the people around you, like your colleagues. I mean, when you kind of get the same level of respect, when there's no comparison, because you're a female or you're not a male teacher. So, I mean, when you get that equality and that same level of respect, so, I mean, it's a smooth sail.
All right, Parsa. So this brings us to the end of the Infocast. I had a great time. It was very informative. Lastly, is there anything that you'd like to say to all the students, not just your students, generally all the students who are watching you?
So for all those who are watching, I'm assuming most of you are students. I just like to say that it's all right if you haven't figured out what you really want to do in life. It's okay. You'll figure it out. Speaking from experience, I started off from wanting to becoming a dentist. I mean, I got the degree, but I realized that I enjoy teaching. So, I mean, just give yourself the time, explore different possibilities and find out what you're good at, because I feel that whatever you're good at is what you should pursue. Because in that case, very rarely will you not be great at it because you enjoy it so much, right? So just find your passion and follow it, and be you, and the world will adjust. And for those who have exams, all the very best and good luck.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For more such content, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.